Hello and welcome to the 24th video that I'll be posting in my Unity platformer tutorial series. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing about title screens. And title screens, as you know, is the first thing that the player will see when playing your game. So we got to make it really nice. And in today's video, I will be teaching you the 3 animations that's really simple and it can be implemented in our title screen. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to our scenes and we're going to click on File, New Scene, and I am going to create, I'm going to save this to our scenes here, and I'm going to name this title screen. Okay, and in the title screen, I am going to go to create a UI canvas here. UI canvas, because we are dealing with canvas right now. And as you can see, the background is pretty blank. There's nothing here. And as you can see, it's just no background. And what we are going to do is I'm going to right click UI and I'm going to create a image, and this image will fill in the canvas here. And for example, I'm going to change the color to bluish, like so. But then, as you know, we can always change the image to something that you've created from before, like a good background, for example, and just put in that great background in the sprite here. But for the meantime, since I don't have a great background prepared, then I'm just going to use this image as the background. So I'm going to change the name of image to background. And then I'm going to go to my canvas again, right click, and we are going to create a image, but this time it's going to be our title screen text. And I'm going to go to my assets and then I'm going to right click, create a folder, and I'm going to name this title screen because I will have a lot of assets. I'm going to click on title screen, right click it, and then click on show in Explorer. And I am going to paste in my assets. Okay, basically you can use any sprite or text that you have for the title. And the first thing that I'm going to add is start title. Okay, and then I'm going to go to my assets, which is the title screen folder here. Go to the start title and drag in my start title to my image here. And then preserve aspect so that it'll go to its normal size. And I'm just gonna go to my scale tool by clicking on R and scale it up. And then W to gain my move tool. And I think the background is just too light, so I'm just gonna make it a little bit darker. A little bit darker, like here. Yeah. Okay. And I'm not gonna move the background, I'm gonna move my start title to somewhere here, for example. I'm just going to teach you the animation tactics, and you can just place your titles wherever you want. And I'm going to create another one, and I'm going to do that by clicking Control D or duplicate. So I'm gonna delete this again. So what you're gonna do is gonna click on start title, click Control D, or right click and duplicate, and it's the same thing. And I'm gonna name this about title. Okay, and then now I can drag it to the side a little bit. And as you can see, it's about the same size. And this will be the first 2 ways to animate your text. And the final way is actually going to be a sprite. And I'll be teaching you that later in this video. Okay, so go back to our start title. And We're gonna add a component, and it's gonna be a button. Okay, click on button, and the first technique that I'll be teaching you is the color tint. Okay, so as you can see, the color tint is white because white can almost be affected by any other color. So our normal color is white, and when we have the highlighted color here, I want us to have, for example, what color do we want? I want to get a yellowish color. This is the color I want to use. And then the press color will be something like greenish. Okay, and selected color is something that's just going to be orange for me. And now if we click on our play here, as you can see, when I drag over on my cursor to my start button, it changes to yellow because of the highlight color. And when I click it, actually, it becomes green. As you can see, when I click it, it becomes green. Then when I release it, it becomes orange. Okay? And these are essentially the three components. You can change the green color to something like in the middle of orange, so that you guys can have a transition. And that's essentially it for our color tint. And in our about title, I'm going to be using another component called button. And this time we won't be using color tint. I'll be using animation. So I'm going to click on about title and click on animation here. And in animation, it creates a normal highlighted, press, selected, and disabled. Then what you can do is you're going to click on auto generate animation. It's going to ask us for where we want to save it, and I'm going to save it in my title screen. Click on save, and it creates an animation. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my Windows, animation, and then click on my about title here. And as you can see, there's a normal and highlighted and pressed and selected. And I am just going to go to my highlighted here and click on record here. And I'm just going to scale things up by going to my scale tool and dragging it up. Okay, and now if I click on play here, as you can see, the image is getting big and small. But however, when I do drag on it, there's like a delay. As you can see, like when I go to my start button, it's really fast. When I go to my about button, there's like this short delay where it changes. And we want to change that, right? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to our about tile here, go to our animator, and as you can see, Unity has prepared us our animator. And what we want to change is our transition here. So as you can see, there is a transition. We don't want to change to instant change like in our platformer, but we just want to change the transition duration to something like a bit faster, like 0.1. And we are going to go back to our normal state by changing it to 0.12. Now, if I go to my scene again, click on the play button, and as you can see, the transition is really fast and really responsive. And these are the two tactics that you can use or implement in your tile screen. And the final tactic will be sprite swap. And I'm going to create another UI image. And I'm going to name this crank because this will be just an aesthetic prop. And I'm going to go to my Sunnyland here, go to the artwork, go to the environment, props, go to the crank here, crank down, and put in the image crank down. And as you can see, the image is small. We are going to preserve aspect and scale it up. Click on W here, change it to the edge. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to our add component here. And as you know, we are going to go and click on our button here. and I'm going to click on Sprite Swap. Okay, and it's gonna ask us for sprites. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna essentially just drag in sprites. Also, don't forget to change the fact that these pixels per unit are 100, and you gotta change it to 16. Click on apply here, and there we go. And then go to our crank here, go to our crank button, and drag in the crank up for our highlighted sprite. For our press sprite, I don't think we have a press sprite. And selected sprite, I'm just gonna go to our crank up again. And there we go. And now if we click on our play here, as you can see, it's cranked down, and when I drag on it, it's up, down, up, down. And this is essentially really useful for animations that you want to add for your game. Or you can use the animation here and put in animations. But then since this is only 2 sprites, then it's better to use our sprite swap. And these are essentially the 3 methods that you can add to your title screen to make them interact with the player. And that's it. There will be no programming in this video actually. We are just going to be using a component that Unity has provided with us in our button here. As you can see, button, and there will be 3 types of button that I've covered, and that is first color tint, in our about is animation, and in our crank here, sprite swap. So these are the 3 components that you can add to your title screen. So I'm going to review everything again once more. So in our start title, we use color tint, and we can just change the color. And in our about title, we have animation, and we just simply scale it up. Or if you have a pre-made animation, you can just put it in our highlighted or in our pressed. And crank is essentially just our image that can swap with something when this trigger happens. And this is all happening thanks to our UI canvas. So don't forget to create a UI for this. And I think that's it for me today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys understand more about Unity platformer making. And I'll see you in the next video.